Hey downtimers, back before cell phones, tablets, and laptops took over the home computing world, there was the desktop PC. It was big, heavy, expensive, and demanded a significant amount of space in our homes and lives. That usually meant some sort of desk had to be either purchased or made. In many homes today, these wooden artifacts sit in a ball of cobwebs and dust bunnies waiting to be set out by the curb and eventually thrown into the local landfill. So it wasn't long ago when the wife told me my old computer desk should make that somber trek, and I happily realized she had just turned that piece of ancient furniture into something I treasure: trash. So in hearing this challenge, I set out to make the best crafting station I could for next to nothing. But first, a whole lot of sweat equity had to happen as it had been neglected for years. I knew this was going to be a dirty job and take some time. The top of the desk wasn't too bad, but the underworld was a mess of dust and stuff that had been forgotten for years. It's a little embarrassing to show all this mess, but I gotta be real. The good news was I remembered there's a shelf under the desk that can hold quite a bit of crafting resources. The bad news was it was holding a ton of ancient video game CDs, PC cables, cell phone cables, and everything else. After all that was either thrown away or relocated and the dust was cleared, I started putting in the crafting resources I thought I might would use at this desk. I had in mind a basic setup. Left was mostly for papercraft, center was for terrain and miniatures, and right was mostly for adhesives and finishing materials such as flocking. So keeping in mind that this will be crafting central for papercraft, miniature craft, and small terrain projects, I proceeded to place some resources on the shelf under the desk. I put up some cereal box chipboard, popsicle sticks, extra glue sticks, and some cool finds from cleaning out the desk: CDs and DVDs that will be great for scattered terrain bases. With the underbelly taken care of, I had to figure out what exactly should be placed on the top. Center stage was a gimme. That had to be my cutting mat, but I wasn't too sure about the rest of the space and had to think it through a little bit. While I'm stepping away from paper minis, I still do some papercraft, so I needed some way to display and make readily available my permanent markers. I scored quite a bit of plastic-clad foam core boards recently from a business that was looking to throw them away. The material works well with the scroll saw and cordless drill, and the plastic cladding makes it very durable. The recess between the desktop and the desk shelf was 6 inches tall, so I set the height of the marker holder to about 5.5 inches. I wanted the markers to be on a grid about 1 inch apart with 4 markers per column. I was tempted to make the holder as wide as the opening would allow, but I really didn't need that big of a holder since I don't have that many markers that I really need constant access to. Also, I needed some room for the electric power strip, which I set deep under the desk shelf to make it more convenient than under the desk and on the floor. I used a 1/2 inch bit that was perfect for the fine tip Sharpies, and I just had to work with that a little extra to make holes a little bit bigger for the bigger markers. I don't use the larger markers as much, so I made larger holes on the left, and then I drilled standard 1/2 inch holes for the rest. The black markers are used the most, so I knew we want those on the right, and then the rest were placed in Roy G. Biv order, with gray and brown on the right. Once that was set, the rest of the desktop was easy to set up. I'm right-handed, so I set the main hot glue gun and all other electric devices on the right, including my new light that I got from the wife for my birthday. This light is great for use as a desktop lamp and a cell phone tripod. Now I wanted to get all my craft paints, brushes, and glue set up, and knew the perfect spot would be on the monitor shelf I made years ago from scrap wood. It's not the perfect shelf for a crafting station, but it works, and it allows more items to be placed out and up for easy access. I have yet to get real miniature paint or even a starter set. If you have a recommendation, please put it in the comments below. When I do get those, I'll need to work them in, but I don't see an issue with that. If I have to make more room, I can always add another shelf a few inches below the top shelf. As it stands, the general setup is craft paints basically in order of use along the front and glues to the right. I use the center to hold my current projects. I have a ton of townsfolk to paint. Something tells me they will be there for a while before they're all taken care of. The top shelf is an ominous display of markers and the messy crafter's staple: paper towels. Finally, I knew exactly what should go on the sliding keyboard shelf. I was gifted 2 organizer bins a while back that I really didn't know what to do with, but they fit perfectly here, and they hold quite a bit. They're not necessary, but they definitely bring up the overall look and feel of the desk, especially with the adjustable partitions and how well the bins keep my crafting tools and odds and ends organized. My paper trimmer and corner rounder fit like a glove on the left of the bins, and that left plenty of space for my ruler and combination square on the right. I didn't need to secure anything on this shelf since I had masking tape on it for years thanks to a slippery keyboard wrist pad that wouldn't stay on the shelf any other way. I started to get the adhesive off the shelf before I set the bins down on it, but then I realized a small amount of glue would be good to hold the bins and everything else on the shelf. I'm very satisfied now that I'm finally done with the desk conversion, and I know it'll be great for smaller crafting projects and anything to do with miniatures. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Oh, and one more thing. The shelf on top, does it look okay being unfinished like that, or should it be maybe painted black or white? If you have an opinion on the topic, please leave your comment below. Let me know if it should be painted black, white, or left as is. Anyway, as always, guys, thanks for watching.